Hi everybody, and welcome to week 4 of my Halloween horror movie Havoc here on Lou's Reviews. Let's jump right into the action. We had Zombie High in 1987, aka The School That Ate My Brain. This is an 80s high school bomb. It really sucked. Virginia Madsen, she goes to a prep high school where the entire cast, including her, looks way too old to be in high school or even college for that matter. But being an 80s high school movie, I thought Billy Zabka was going to show up and start kicking everybody's ass in this movie, but that didn't even happen. This thing was a bomb. I mean, yeesh. These Stepford-esque zombies, I just didn't like it. They were all controlled by an evil dean, by the way, so I'll ruin the whole movie for you. Non-gory snooze fest. This is an F. No fun at all. Then I jumped into the ABCs of death. "26 horror masters from around the world were each given one letter to make a word and make a few minutes of film about a subject of the word related to the death." And wow, this movie was just unbelievable. There was some pretty shocking stuff in this movie. I'll just tell you, I'll go over the worst of the letters. Letter D, that's not for animal lovers. Or maybe it kind of is, as there's a payoff at the end of D. E is certainly not for arachnophobes. And F is for what the wrong with Japanese people. But then again, so are J, L, and Z. Japanese filmmakers are just weird. I just don't have a taste for Japanese film if it doesn't have guys in rubber suits running around and stomping on toys. I should say that L is L, X, and Y were absolutely shocking, and L was probably the worst. K and M and N were pretty funny, but yeah, this was a shocker. I mean, it was bizarre. It was uber weird. It pushed the limits of good taste. And I'm going to give it a B+ because it's a B+ film, and because I didn't see anywhere in the movie, I didn't see 26 horror masters. At least none that I knew of anyway. Apparently there's a sequel coming. But I should prepare you for this. It's an interesting film. If you're a horror buff, you'll like it. But I'm telling you, the letter L is absolutely shocking. So, be careful. You've been warned. Then I watched The Bay from 2012. I hate found footage films. I allow the exceptions of George Romero's Diary of the Dead and of Frankenstein's Army and the Blair Witch Project when it first came out. But I'm tired of found footage films. Although the premise was interesting. I mean, it was supposed to be about a media cover-up with some kind of contagion that came from chicken poop. So, I'll give it a C-. I probably will never watch it again, but there were worse ways to waste an hour and a half. And then I watched Audrey Rose from 1977 with Sir Anthony Hopkins, and even he couldn't save this Exorcist wannabe ripoff. It wasn't worth it. I just didn't like it, so I'm giving that an F. Then I watched The Iron Rose, a 1973 avant-garde French horror film, and this was a nightmare. It was about these two lovers who go into a cemetery to make love, although I've never been able to understand what exactly the appeal is of doing that in a cemetery. And they get trapped and they can't get out. And the film turns into this bizarre, surrealist nightmare. I like movies like that. So this one was very dreamy quality, very trippy. I liked it a lot. I'm going to give it an A+. And then I watched Brain Dead from 1990. This was the only film I think in existence that has both Bill Pullman and Bill Paxton. Who for some reason seem to get confused. People confuse them. But Bill Pullman plays Dr. Rex Martin, a neurosurgeon who is studying brain malfunctions and mental illness. And his old school friend, played by Bill Paxton, is a mathematician who has a former genius student who is suffering some very weird and bizarre dreams. And Dr. Martin operates on the student, who's played by Bud Cort, a second-hand actor. I wouldn't really call him a second-hand actor because I really enjoy him. I just don't think he ever got his real due respect in Hollywood. But anyway, Bill Pullman's character operates on him and then begins to suffer the same bizarre dreams that he does. And so there's some kind of weird psychic link going on in there. And I like that one. It's like almost like Altered States, if you've ever seen that. I'm going to give Brain Dead a B+. And now, for the two films that I have chosen, classic films I've chosen to review. Brain Dead from 1993, right here on my shelf. Peter Jackson, before he became known for The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. This one's also known as Dead Alive. This is a great film. Gory, gory, gory to an extent to where it's almost cartoonish. Lionel is a lonely mama's boy. He's controlled completely by his mother, falls in love with the local grocery store owner's daughter, and they try to have they try to bloom a romance, grow a romance between the two of them, but mother won't have anything to do with it, especially once mother becomes an insane super zombie. This movie is friggin' hilarious. It's an A+ all the way through. It has gore you would not believe, including a lawnmower that I won't get too much into if you've never seen it. Let's just put it this way. You know the little cartoons where somebody's running on a slick pavement, a slick surface, and they can't go anywhere while they're running? Well, that happens. It's a little bit of a spoiler, but it's funny. And that's the only horror comedy I think I've ever seen that's made me want to laugh and throw up at the same time. So, A+, Brain Dead, a.k.a. Dead Alive. See that one if you've never seen it. I am going to defend Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. I like it. Despite its glaring plot holes, the biggest one being the whole time zone thing, that apparently the big giveaway at the end of the movie is at 9 o'clock, and somehow or another 9 o'clock seems to apply across every time zone across the United States, and it's never explained. And then of course there's that irritating, annoying song, and you know the one I'm talking about, especially if you have seen it. But I like the film. I thought it really stands out as a very unique story. John Carpenter had a great idea. The idea was to make an anthology of films after the two Michael Myers stories, because he felt like he told the whole story in Halloween 1 with Michael Myers, but the public demanded a sequel, so he gave them a sequel, and then he didn't want to do it anymore. And, you know, the idea of an anthology, I think that would have worked really well. But anyway, Halloween 3, it's a class act in and of itself. It's fun to watch. Give it a shot if you've never seen it before, or if you have seen it before and you didn't like it, try it again. Watch it with an open mind. You might like it. So, that's week 4 here on Lou's Reviews. Stick around for week 5 as I get to cross off an item from my very own bucket list, and I'll tell you what that is coming up next week. Take care of yourselves, and thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.